Before we begin this heartwarming story, if you love emotional and inspiring stories, make sure to subscribe to Feeling Stories and hit the bell icon so you never miss an incredible tale. The hospital room was dimly lit, the faint hum of fluorescent lights filling the silence. A soft beeping echoed from the monitors in the next room. The smell of antiseptic hung in the air, cold and sterile. Sophie Carter sat on the crinkled white hospital bed, her fingers tightly curled into her lap. Across from her, Dr. Patel adjusted his glasses. His expression was calm but serious. Sophie already knew what was coming. She had heard this tone before, the soft, rehearsed voice doctors used when delivering difficult news. Dr. Patel, gently. "Sophie, the treatment is working, but you'll need at least 2 more rounds of chemotherapy." Sophie didn't flinch. She was used to this. Pain, exhaustion, the endless cycle of hope and despair. But today, something was different. Her mother stood beside her, clutching a hospital bill in her trembling hands. The total at the bottom of the page was overwhelming. Too much. They didn't have enough. Sophie exhaled slowly. If she wanted to keep fighting, she had to sell more paintings. On a busy city sidewalk, a small wooden stand sat nestled between 2 bustling shops. Displayed on it were vibrant, colorful paintings, each one telling a story of dreams, hope, and resilience. A handwritten sign rested on the front: "Art for treatment. Your support can save a life." Sophie, wrapped in an oversized hoodie, sat beside the stand, her fingers stained with paint. Every passing second was crucial. She needed to sell. Sophie, calling out, "Original paintings for sale. Every painting helps with my treatment." People walked past. Some glanced at her artwork, smiling softly before moving on. A few stopped, admired the paintings, but left without buying. Sophie took a deep breath and tried again. She couldn't give up. Then something unexpected happened. A man, dressed in a brown leather jacket and a cowboy hat, stopped in front of her stand. His weathered hands carefully picked up a painting, his deep-set eyes scanning the brushstrokes. Sophie didn't recognize him at first. To her, he was just another customer, until she saw the way others on the street started whispering, their eyes widening. And then it hit her. This wasn't just any man. This was Clint Eastwood. Sophie's breath caught in her throat, but instead of losing herself in the moment, she did what she always did, focused on her art. "Sophie," softly, "thank you. Painting is my way of fighting." Clint Eastwood looked at her for a moment, then at the paintings once more. His expression was unreadable, but there was something in his eyes, something deeper than admiration. Then he spoke. Clint Eastwood, calmly. "How much for all of them?" Sophie blinked. All of them? Her mother, who had been watching from a few steps away, gasped. Sophie, hesitant. All of them?" Clint nodded. "Clint, yes, every single one." For the first time, Sophie felt the weight of exhaustion lift, replaced by a different kind of emotion, one she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Her mother's hands trembled as tears welled in her eyes. Sophie, softly, almost whispering, "But why?" Clint reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. He handed it to her with a quiet smile. "Clint, because sometimes the world needs to stop and notice, instead of just passing by." Sophie's hands shook as she opened the envelope. Inside, stacks of crisp bills filled the space, enough not just for her treatment, but more, enough to give her a real chance. Tears streamed down Sophie's face. Her mother covered her mouth, overwhelmed. She'd spent so long trying to stay strong, trying to be brave. But at this moment, she let the emotions take over. Clint Eastwood, the legendary actor and director, simply nodded. He tipped his hat, ready to leave. But before walking away, he turned one last time. Clint, smiling, "Keep painting, kid. The world needs more of this." And with that, he disappeared into the city crowd. Sophie held the envelope close to her chest. She looked at her paintings, the very thing that had been her source of strength. And for the first time in a long time, she truly believed in miracles. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can change someone's life forever. Never underestimate the power of generosity. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Feeling Stories for more inspiring content. Like and share this video to remind the world that kindness still exists.